Hello and welcome to this session on annotating a text. So after going over writing in the disciplines, we are going to start learning how to read academic texts. And reading academic texts is very different from reading any other kind of text. For one, reading academic text is much more tedious as an activity, and it's a lot more boring for sure. So today we're going to go over how to annotate a text to help us read more effectively and more critically, and to help us read smarter instead of harder. Now, many of us have a difficulty concentrating on reading academic texts, and it's because the material is dry and not very easy to maneuver through or work with. Therefore, the best way to be able to read effectively is to read with the intention of annotating. Annotating a text means marking the pages with notes, and this is the best way to make sure that we are getting the most out of our reading in our college courses. It's also the best way to find information later on when we revisit the text. So, if, for example, if you annotate the text early on in the semester, um, and when you go back to this text in order to study it for a midterm or a final, you will find that the annotation helps you remember information from the text a lot easier. Also, if you're writing a research paper, annotating a text is very important because revisiting the text means that we can extract important information from this text, helping us with our writing. So, a annotated text will help us accomplish all of the following. Clearly identify where in the text important ideas and information are located, express the main ideas of a text, trace the development of ideas and arguments throughout the text, and introduce a few of the reader's thoughts and reactions. So how do we annotate the text? We annotate the text by highlighting it, paraphrasing, summarizing main ideas, writing a descriptive outline, and writing our comments or responses. Sometimes when we start underlining, we end up highlighting or underlining everything in the text because we have a tendency to highlight more information than necessary. So before you begin highlighting or underlining, keep in mind that you are marking the parts of the text that you want to make notes about. So it's important to highlight the words or phrases of the text that are referred to by your other annotations, which means that if you are underlining or highlighting, you can use, for example, a particular color for main ideas, or you can use a particular color for keywords that are popping up in the text. Second, paraphrase and summarize the main idea. So when you highlight the main idea in a text, then you should go back and try to rewrite it in your own words. This is an excellent preparation for any writing that you may have to do later on. So in the margins, after you have highlighted a particular idea, in the margins, write your summary of the main idea in your own words. This helps you remember information better, and it helps you later on when you are trying to quote this information or cite it in your own paper. It'll help you do that much faster because you've already done it. The third thing that we can do is write a descriptive outline also in the margins. The descriptive outline shows the organization of a piece of writing, breaking it down to show where the ideas are introduced and where they are developed. So it shows you where the details, facts, explanations, and other kinds of support is located. So a descriptive outline will focus on the function of individual paragraphs. So every paragraph can be referred to by like saying this is an introduction, this is a conclusion, this summarizes a topic argument, it adds an explanation, gives examples, etc., etc. Finally, we can add our own comments or responses So as you are annotating, you can add your own comments to whatever you're reading, right? This makes it yours. This makes you connect with the reading far better. I personally use a lot of emojis. So if I think something is very funny or hilarious or ironic, I put LOL or a smiley face, or sometimes I put, what the hell is this? What was the author thinking, etc. So I react to the text, and if I like an idea, I say, for example, whoa, this is an amazing idea, or I never thought about this before. This makes me feel a lot more connected to the text, and it helps me remember information from the text a lot better when I revisit it in the future. This is a sample of an annotated text. This is How Come the Quantum by John Archibald Wheeler. And notice that the main ideas are in bold, descriptive outline is in universal font, and italics is for comments. So here, with the descriptive outline, this says introduction of topic over here, historical perspective, description, main idea of essay, which is underlined, rhetorical question, one interpretation, anecdote, second interpretation, third interpretation, explanation, and analogy. Okay, development of analogy, speculation, and conclusion. On the other hand, we have the main ideas are listed in bold. For example, here, the main idea is summed up in greatest mystery in physics is nature of quantum. Chance plays a great role in change in this small-scale world, etc., etc. So all these main ideas are in bold. The author chose, not the author, the annotator chose to insert his or her comments in italics, so they can range from questions to reactions to maybe explanations for self, etc., etc. Like here, I'm with Einstein on this. Name dropper, meaning the author is showing off that he knows people, etc., etc. So this makes no sense. What's too bad? But does the lab have anything to do with real cosmos, etc.? So this is how a text is annotated. You can annotate a text differently, but definitely the best way to annotate a text is to combine highlighting with summarizing and paraphrasing, with writing comments, and with writing a descriptive outline. This is the best way to do it. Now, when it comes to our assignment, the annotation assignment, this is what I want you to do. I want you to select a peer-reviewed article from AB databases, search for the subject of your interest, and limit the search to journal articles and peer-reviewed articles. Find an article, try to keep it as short as possible, print it out if you can, or you can annotate it by hand if you can. You can use, for example, an iPad, or you can annotate it using Word doc, just like the one that we previously saw, the example of an annotation. So you can write your you can use bold for main ideas, and some distinguished font for descriptive outline, etc., etc. And I also want you for this annotation to prepare a cover sheet. On the cover sheet, you type your name, class, professor's name, date, assignment, top left-hand corner of the page, single space that part, and then write a citation, an author bio, and an article summary. If there are many authors to the article, make sure that you just write one author bio, and usually that would be the first author or the first name mentioned in the list of authors. What you can do is, if you annotate it by hand, you can then scan it, or if you've annotated it digitally, you can then save it and submit it to the annotation assignment. Now, how do you cite a journal article from the databases in APA format? This is an example. This is how you do it: last name, first name, middle name, year published, article title, journal name. Notice journal name is in italics, then comma, then volume is in italics, no space between volume and issue. Issue is between parentheses, and then pages, and then the DOI or retrieved from URL. This would be an example over here. Make sure you leave no spaces between DOI and the number. Only capitalize proper nouns and the first word of the article title, and only include URL if there is no DOI. Alright, I hope this explains the assignment for you and explains the annotation and the steps for annotating. And we will use this annotation later on when we do an annotated bibliography. Have a good one, everyone.